Julian Ashford stepped into the warm glow of Ember and Oak, his flagship cafe on the cobblestone streets of Asheville's historic district, pulling the brim of his faded baseball cap low over his eyes. At 42, Julian was the architect of a coffee empire, 30 locations across the southeast, each a haven of artisanal brews and reclaimed wood accents, his name etched in venture capital lore. But success had sanded away the boyish dreamer who'd started with a single espresso machine in his garage, fueled by late-night poetry and the scent of roasted beans. Now, boardrooms and balance sheets were his rhythm, and whispers of complacency among his staff had drawn him here, incognito, to gauge the pulse of his creation. Dressed in threadbare jeans and a flannel shirt that smelled faintly of rain-soaked earth, props borrowed from a thrift shop, he blended into the midday crowd, artists sketching in leather-bound journals, remote workers tapping away on laptops, a mother coaxing giggles from a toddler with a foam mustache. Julian claimed a corner stool at the counter, ordering a black Americano with a gravelly voice, his wedding band tucked away in his pocket. His wife, Clara, had left 2 years ago, citing a man who listened more than he led. The divorce papers still stung like over-extracted espresso, bitter, overdone. He'd poured that ache into expansion, convincing himself growth healed all. From his vantage, Julian observed with the keen eye of a hawk. The baristas moved like a well-oiled waltz, steam wands hissing symphonies, ground scooped with precision. But cracks spiderwebbed beneath the polish. A veteran server, Marcus, grumbled under his breath as he wiped counters, snapping at a new hire over a misplaced syrup bottle. Efficiency over everything, Julian had preached in memos, metrics trumping morale. He watched a young couple's order bungled, latte art wilted into a sad puddle, met with a curt "we'll remake it" instead of warmth. Julian's jaw tightened. This wasn't the soulful sanctuary he'd envisioned. It was a machine, churning profit at the cost of connection. Then she appeared, Eloan Reed, the head barista, a wisp of a woman in her late 20s with hair like burnished copper braided with wildflowers, and eyes the color of smoke honey, deep, knowing, as if they'd witnessed the quiet unraveling of 1,000 strangers' days. Eloan wasn't on the roster Julian had memorized. She'd started last month, a temp filling in for maternity leave. Her movements were poetry in motion, tamping grounds with a gentle reverence, frothing milk as if coaxing secrets from cream. She greeted each patron not with rote cheer, but with questions that bloomed, rough morning, or just chasing that perfect pour. Drawing smiles like sunlight through fog. Julian's order arrived in her hands, a porcelain cup etched with acorn motifs, steam curling like whispered confessions. She slid it toward him, her gaze lingering a beat too long, as if sensing the disguise woven from wool and weariness. "Here you are," she said, voice soft as sifted sugar. "Black, bold, reminds me of those autumn storms that shake the leaves loose but leave the roots stronger." He grunted a thanks, sipping to mask his surprise. The brew was flawless, notes of dark chocolate and bergamot dancing on his tongue. But it was her ease that unsettled him, the way she didn't perform hospitality, but embodied it. As the afternoon ebbed, Julian lingered, nursing refills, eavesdropping on her orbit. To the harried mother, a free cookie shaped like a star, for the little constellation in your arms. To the artist, sketching a latte swirl, that's got the wild heart of a foxfly, keep chasing it. Marcus rolled his eyes from the espresso line, muttering about wasted time, but customers lingered, wallets forgotten in the glow of genuine spark. Dusk painted the windows in amber when the cafe thinned to a hush. A lone patron shuffled in, an elderly man named Harlan, stooped like an ancient oak, his coat threadbare, fingers trembling around a coin purse that yielded only crumpled singles. He ordered a simple drip coffee, voice quavering, "Just a cup, dear. Haven't had one since the wife passed. Tastes like home, you know." Eloan nodded, her smile unwavering, but as Harlan fumbled for exact change, Marcus interjected from behind the counter, voice laced with frost, "We don't do pennies here, sir. Card or nothing, policy." Harlan's face crumpled, pride fracturing like thin ice. I thought." He backed away, coffee untouched, the door's bell tolling his retreat like a dirge. Julian's blood simmered. This was the rot he'd feared, his policies, enforced without heart, turning havens into hurdles. He rose, cap shadowing fury, but Eloan was already moving. She poured the drip into a to-go cup, steam blooming like a promise, and slipped out the door after Harlan. Julian followed at a distance, pulse thundering, watching from the rain-slick sidewalk as she caught the old man's elbow under the street lamp's halo. "Mr. Harlan," she said, pressing the cup into his hands, her voice a lifeline in the chill. "This one's on the house. And next time, bring a story instead of change. We've got plenty of both here." Harlan blinked, tears carving paths down weathered cheeks. He clutched the cup like a relic, whispering, "But why? Folks like me. We are just ghosts in places like yours." Alohan's laugh was a melody, light as falling leaves. "Ghosts? Nah. You're the roots, Harlan, the ones that fed the trees we all sit under. Without stories like yours, this place is just beans and water. Come back anytime. We need you more than you know." Julian stood frozen, the words piercing him like arrows of forgotten light. We need you more than you know. It wasn't policy or profit. It was permission, to belong, to be seen. In that phrase, Alohan hadn't just salvaged a stranger's dignity. She'd unearthed the cafe's true essence, the one Julian had buried under spreadsheets. He thought of Clara's parting words. "You built walls around your heart, Julian, and called it success." And Harlan, a mirror of the vulnerabilities Julian had armored against, losses unshared, years unlived. The revelation cascaded. Back inside, as closing rituals unfolded, Julian shed his cap, revealing the man beneath. Gasps rippled. Marcus's jaw slackened, the new hire's eyes widened. "It's me," Julian said, voice steady but laced with humility. "And I've been blind." He gathered the staff in the lamplit glow, Alohan's eyes meeting his with quiet curiosity, no judgment. "I've checked boxes, chase numbers, but lost the why. Alohan." He turned to her, gratitude swelling like a perfect crema. "That phrase out there. It's the soul I forgot we serve. From tomorrow, no more policy over people. Stories over singles. Roots over revenue." Tears brimmed in Alohan's eyes, but her smile was a dawn. "It's not about forgetting, Julian. It's about remembering. This place? It's not yours alone. It's ours." In the weeks that followed, Ember and Oak transformed, not with renovations, but revolutions of the heart. Julian demoted metrics, elevating story hours where patrons swapped tales for lattes. He reconciled with Clara over coffee in that very corner, her hand in his, forgiveness frothing like fresh milk. Harlan became a fixture, his World War II yarns drawing crowds, his presence a reminder that every cup cradled a chapter. And Alohan. She stayed, not as temp, but as co-keeper of the flame, her wildflower braids a banner of what bloomed when walls fell. Julian learned to linger, not in disguise, but in delight, finding that the richest brew was vulnerability, steeped in the phrases that bound us. One rainy evening, as thunder rumbled like applause, Julian raised a mug to the staff. To the one phrase that changed everything, he toasted. And the woman who whispered it. Alohan clinked her cup to his, eyes sparkling. "To roots, Julian. May they always run deeper than we know." In the alchemy of that night, Julian Ashford didn't just reclaim his cafe. He rediscovered his place in it, a branch, not the tree, thriving in the forest of souls he'd almost overlooked. Thank you for watching this story till the end. Sparkles. If it touched your heart, please support us. Thumbs up sign, give it a like. Speech balloon, share your thoughts in the comments. Bell, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Your support helps us create more stories that inspire and make you believe in miracles. Your participation means a lot to us.